Hello, Junior Lab Rats. Sorry I'm not going to see your faces again this week, but here is your lesson. And for your class participation credit, you'll need to pay attention for all the bad science jokes, puns, and riddles that I have dispersed throughout your lesson. Pick one that makes you laugh, snort, roll your eyes, or facepalm. Either you think it's kind of funny or it's so awful you can't believe I made you endure it. And then make a meme or a drawing or an image to represent your pick. And then you're going to go to our forum under the established heading memes, which is in the Students 2020-2021 Chemistry Forum, and post it there. And I have put that link directly in your assignment in TeacherEase. So this week we are discussing mixtures. What is a mixture and what are the types of mixtures? Mixture. So a mixture is a substance made by combining two or more different materials in such a way that no chemical reaction occurs. So not a compound, because that involves a chemical reaction. A mixture can usually be separated back into its original components. Types of mixtures. So we have homogeneous mixtures, and those are mixtures in which the particles are evenly distributed and not easily separated. We also have heterogeneous mixtures, where the particles are easily separated. So here your two pictures are comparing sugar being dissolved in water. So sugar water is homogeneous, and then for a heterogeneous example, we have a bowl of berries. You could easily separate those strawberries, those tiny, tiny strawberries, out from the raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. Types of heterogeneous mixtures. So we have suspensions. Suspensions are mixtures of a fluid that contains solid particles sufficiently large for sedimentation. Notice I said fluid, not liquid. Suspensions can also be gas. They don't have to always be liquid. Another type of a heterogeneous mixture would be a colloid. This is a mixture in which very small particles of one substance are distributed evenly throughout another substance. And here our example is milk. So here's a video explaining what homogenized milk is. Unless you live on a farm, pretty much all the milk you've ever consumed, if it's been bought at a grocery store, has been homogenized.
Do you ever wonder what exactly is homogenized milk? Well, you're not alone.
Dear Organic Valley, I noticed that you have homogenized and non-homogenized milk. What's the difference? Great question. Here's one of our food scientists with the answer.
I'm Emma Grindy, a product development food technologist, and I've been with Organic Valley for 5 years. Homogenization is simply the process of breaking down fat molecules so the milk has a smooth and even consistency. Homogenization doesn't involve additives or chemicals, and homogenization doesn't alter the nutritional benefits of drinking milk. In its natural state, all raw milk is composed of protein, water, and butterfat. Left alone, the fat will rise to the top, creating an obvious layer of cream. This is where we get the saying, only the cream rises to the top. When milk is homogenized, it's heated, agitated, and passed through a valve at high pressure. This physical process changes the fat molecules so they are the same size and density as the rest of the milk. The result? Homogenized milk is always smooth and consistent.
That's really all there is to it. But if you would like to try milk with the cream on top, Organic Valley makes several non-homogenized dairy products. Grass milk whole milk, cream on top, grass milk 2% milk, cream on top, and our signature cream on top grass milk yogurt.
To find Organic Valley products near you, try our product locator. Till next time, Organic Valley.
So what are the types of homogeneous mixtures? We have a solution. That's a homogeneous mixture composed of two or more substances, a solute, which is dissolved, and a solvent, which does the dissolving. And in this picture, what you have is carbonated water. So our solute is actually a gas in this case. It's carbon dioxide, and the water is the solvent. So let's talk about dissolving. Dissolution occurs when a solute breaks up from a larger particle into much smaller groups or individual molecules. This breakup is caused by coming into contact with a solvent. So solutes and solvents. A solute is what's dissolved, and a solvent is what does the dissolving. So our universal solvent is water, and we call water the universal solvent because it can dissolve lots of different things. And that has to do with the way the water molecule itself is constructed. So let's look at your homework. You had a similar image in your homework. Would this be a suspension, a solution, or a colloid? Well, as you see, the solid particles are settling out, so that means this is a suspension. And here we have Jell-O. Is Jell-O a suspension, a solution, or a colloid? I think you had a similar image in your homework as well. It's a colloid, which means it has very small particles suspended within the solution that are not going to settle out. And how about air? Air is a solution, even though it's not a liquid. So this is actually a picture of Himalayan rock salt. And compounds which exist as solid ionic crystals dissolve in water as ions, and most of them are highly soluble in water. The positive and negative ions spread apart and are surrounded by water. And again, this has to do with the way the water molecule itself is constructed. It has to do with positive and negative charges and how the ions can be pulled away from one another. And this is actually cotton candy, so it isn't an ionic compound, but a molecular one. Dissolving a molecular solid requires breaking only weak intermolecular forces, not the covalent bonds that actually hold the individual molecules together. Therefore, molecular solids are relatively soluble in water. So here's our water, our universal solvent, and it can dissolve both ionic and molecular compounds. Looking at your homework sheet, or your notes, the part of the solution that is present in smaller amounts is the solute. The part of the solution that is present in larger amounts is the solvent. A colloid is a mixture containing small undissolved particles that do not settle out but are large enough to scatter light. A fluid containing particles that can easily be seen and separated by filtration or settling is a suspension. And a well-mixed mixture that contains a solvent and at least one solute is called a solution. Explain what a solution is and how one is formed. So your answer should be similar to this one, maybe not quite as involved. A solution is made of one substance called a solute, and it dissolves into another substance called a solvent. Dissolving is when the solute breaks up from a larger crystal or molecules into smaller groups of individual molecules. This breakup is caused by coming into contact with the solvent. In the case of salt water, the water molecules break off salt molecules from larger crystal lattice. They do this by pulling away the ions and then surrounding the salt molecules. Each salt molecule still exists. It's just now surrounded by water molecules instead of fixed to a crystal of salt. So head over to your homework, your class participation assignment, and make me a meme.